Morning students. So we were discussing about the classification of map projection. So in the last class we had discussed the classification of map projection based on the shape of projecting surface. Okay. So next is the classification based on preserved quantity. So as I have told, in every map projection we cannot preserve all the properties like shape, area, direction, etc. Okay. So any one of these property will vary when we are converting a 3D surface into a 2D. Okay. So based on the parameter that is which is we are going to preserve during this transformation, we can classify this map projection into four types. They are conformal, equal area, equidistant and azimuthal. So in conformal, the shapes are preserved. Shapes of regions are preserved in conformal transformation, and in equal area, areas are preserved, and in equidistance, distance from single location to other all other locations are preserved, that is distance is preserved, and in azimuthal, directions from single location to all other locations are preserved. Okay, so first one, conformal projection. So in this type of projection, it preserves shape and direction, but other parameters like area and distance will be distorted. Okay, so here shape and directions are preserved. So it is used for topographic mapping and navigation purpose, because in these situations the shape has to be constant. Okay, so for topographic mapping and navigation purpose we are using conformal projection where the shape is preserved. For example for this conformal projection, that is the type of projection method in which shape and direction are preserved, are Mercator projection, Lambert conformal conic projection. Okay, so this is about conformal projection. Next is equivalent projection. So in this type it preserves area, okay, but shape, distance and direction may be distorted. Since here area is preserved, it is usually used for application like production of population map, land use map, etc. So in these type of maps we have to preserve the area, so equivalent projection is used. Example for this equivalent projection are Albert area projection, Lambert's equal area projection, sinusoidal equal area projection. Then third type is equidistant projection. So here it preserves distance, but other parameters like shape, direction and area may be distorted. Okay, so this type of map projection is used where distance is to be preserved. That is, it is used for airline distance map and seismic map. So in these situations we have to preserve the distance. Okay, for example atlas map, equidistant conic projection map, etc. Okay. So last one, azimuthal projection. Okay, so in this azimuthal projection it preserves direction, but other parameters like area, shape and distance may be distorted. Only direction is preserved. So this type of projection is used in situations where distance is very important, that is in the case of air and sea navigation. So in these situations we have to preserve the direction. So azimuthal projection is used. Example Mercator projection. Example for azimuthal projection is Mercator projection. So these are the classification of map projection based on preserved quantity. They are conformal, equal area, then equidistance and azimuthal. Equivalent or equal area, then equidistant and azimuthal projection. Next a topic, that is universal transverse Mercator. It is also known as UTM. So it is a UTM is a system of transverse secant cylindrical projection. It is a type of transverse secant cylindrical projection, and here it divides the surface of Earth into 6-degree zones with central meridian in the center of the zone. This is a type of projection method. Okay, so it is not in your syllabus, just for your knowledge, and I am explaining this, okay, about UTM. So UTM zone numbers designate 6-degree longitudinal stripes extending from 80 degrees south latitude to 84 degree north latitude. So likewise it is dividing into 6 degrees, and it is a type of conformal projection. So small features appear with the correct shape and scale in the is the same in all directions. That is, since it is conformal, it preserves the shape. Okay, these are some of the cylindrical projections. So here the tangent is at selected line, it is passing through one line, and here the secant along two lines, it is touching two lines. This is a UTM projection that we have explained earlier. Then conic projection means this is a type of conic projection. So here the meridians are a straight line which is converging, and parallels are concentric circular arcs. Okay, that is conic projection. And in secant projection means cone touches the globe at two locations. If the globe touches at two locations like this, it is known as secant projection. Okay. Then oblique conical projection means axis of cone does not line up with polar axis. It does not line up with the polar axis. These are azimuthal planar projection. Secant means it is not touching touching the polar region, and in tangent it is touching the polar region. Next, last, it's a classification based on the viewpoint, that is direction of light source. Okay, so first one, if the viewpoint is at the center, that is if the viewpoint is at the center, or the light is directing from the center, or light is flashing from the center towards the edge, that type of projection is known as mnemonic projection. Okay, so here the great circle, since it is projecting from center, these great circles will appear as straight lines, and it is used for navigation chart. Okay. Next, if the viewpoint is from infinity, if the light source is from infinity like this, light source from infinity, what will appear? The earth will be the appearance of earth will be similar that from space. Okay, and this type of projection is known as orthographic projection. So here the viewpoint is from infinity, that is the light source is from infinity. Okay. So last one, if the viewpoint on the surface at far side of the globe. Okay, if the light source is here and we are viewing towards this, towards this end. So here, that type of projection is known as stereographic projection, that is the viewpoint on the surface at the far side of the globe. And here the latitude and longitude will be appear as a curved lines. And shape property is preserved for intersection, so it's a type of conformal projection. Okay, so this is the classification of map projection based on the light source. So if the light source is at the center, it is mnemonic, and if the light source is from infinity, it is orthographic, and if the light source is from far end of the globe, it is stereographic projection. Okay, so these are the different types of classification for map projection. So the basic classification is based on the surface on which we are we are transforming, that is the cylindrical projection, planar projection, and conical projection. That is the basic classification. So if in the exam they are asked to describe the map projection classification, you just write the main classification, that is cylindrical, conical, and planar system. Okay, so if it is asked for essay question, you have to write all these classification. Okay. So the basic classification is that cylindrical, conical, and planar, and these are not much important, but this is also in your syllabus. So this is about map projection. So I am winding this topic of map projection, and next class we can start GIS. Okay, thank you.